Good morning and welcome to you. I'm John Huggins. I'm the vicar of the Len Valley Benefice. That's churches in Bourton Mallow, Harwich, Lenham and Oldcombe. It's April the 26th, the third Sunday of Easter in 2020. I hope you're well, and I hope those that you love are well as well. I'm going to read from Luke 24. It's a story that we might know. It's on the road to Emmaus. It's a slightly long passage, but it's also a really good story, and we all like good stories. So sit back and listen, and as you do so, get involved in the story. Now, that same day, two of them were going to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. They were talking with each other about everything that had happened. As they talked and discussed these things with each other, Jesus himself came up and walked along with them, but they were kept from recognizing him. He asked them, "What are you discussing together as you walk along?" They stood still, their faces downcast. One of them, named Cleopas, asked him, "Are you the only one visiting Jerusalem who does not know the things that have happened there in these days?" "What things?" Jesus asked. "About Jesus of Nazareth," they replied. "He was a prophet, powerful in word and deed before God and all the people. The chief priests and our rulers handed him over to be sentenced to death, and they crucified him. But we had hopes that he was the one who was going to redeem Israel. And what's more, it's the third day since all this took place. In addition, some of our women amazed us. They went to the tomb early this morning, but didn't find his body. They came and told us that they had seen a vision of angels who said he was alive. Then some of our companions went to the tomb and found it just as the women had said, but they did not see Jesus." He said to them, "How foolish you are, and how slow to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Did not the Messiah have to suffer these things and then enter his glory?" And beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he explained to them what was said in all the scriptures concerning himself. As they approached the village to which they were going, Jesus continued on as if he was going further. And they urged him strongly, "Stay with us, for it's nearly evening. The day is almost over." So he went in to stay with them. When he was at the table with them, he took bread, gave thanks, broke it, and began to give it to them. Then their eyes were opened and they recognized him, and he disappeared from their sight. They asked each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he talked with us on the road and opened the scriptures to us?" They got up and returned at once to Jerusalem. There they found the 11 and those with them assembled together, and saying, "It is true, the Lord has risen and has appeared to Simon." Then the two told what had happened on the way, and how Jesus was recognized by them when he broke the bread. Father, by the power of the Spirit, may my words draw from your written word to be to us your living word, Jesus Christ, your Son. Over the past year, or a little bit more than a year, some of us in the Len Valley Benefice have been involved in something called an MLC, which stands for a Missional Learning Community. And I became interested because the purpose of these groups is to try to change the culture in our churches. Now, we might say, why do we need to change? I'm quite happy with how we are. The answer is that the church always has, and it always will, change to adapt to best demonstrate God's love to the world in the world in which it finds itself, in both word and deed. So, for example, two of my kids, when they were quite a lot younger, went out to Kenya to join a church that met with the people who lived in their homes built on a slum on a rubbish tip. Now, how you share God's love with people living there, it'll have some areas of overlap with us, but it'll also have some real areas of difference on how we are church in Leafy Kent. I want to recall the introduction of my ordination, in which the Archbishop said these words, and they're said at the ordination of every Church of England priest. The Church professes the faith uniquely revealed in the Holy Scriptures and set forth in the Catholic creeds, which faith the Church is called upon to proclaim afresh in each generation. Which faith the Church is called upon to proclaim afresh in each generation. Proclaiming afresh means proclaiming in ways that are fresh and effective for each generation, each culture in which we live. This passage about the road to Emmaus is all about culture change, not changing the culture of the world, but the culture of the disciples. And this culture change is what the diocese is talking about at the moment in its Changed Lives to Changing Lives programme. It's when our lives are changed by God that we're able to reach out and bring positive, exciting transformation, the transformation of Jesus Christ himself, to those around us and to our society and world. That's our vision. That's our vision of the Christian Church worldwide. So, let me pull out a few things from this passage. Firstly, we have two disciples. One's called Cleopas. We don't know the other's name. They're not apparently from the inner circle of disciples who'd been around Jesus. They are downcast and confused. Jesus was, according to them, a prophet, but they have now experienced the death of Jesus Christ, and they've heard about the empty tomb, but they don't mention anything about Jesus actually being raised again. They are looking at their Bible, what we call the Old Testament of the Bible, and trying, but failing to understand. So the first thing I want to say today is that these disciples are good examples of what it means to be a Christian. Why do I say that?